The COP-29 conference, which Aliyev, Mincher, and even Pashinyan received with gratitude, has now begun to create unexpected surprises for his regime. Calls for human rights to be restored in Azerbaijan are now being called for COP-29. U.S. Senator Ben Cardin demands the release of political prisoners from the Azerbaijani regime as soon as possible, and addresses this with COP-29. He says that having so many political prisoners in a country that has such moderate measures in hostility is swearing at world values. Opposition leader Ali Karimli wrote a wide comment on this issue. Our calls for COP-29 have finally received an adequate response from the U.S. Armed Forces. For months, the representatives of more than 200 countries in the international community, as well as people deprived of the most fundamental rights, such as living in freedom, have come to Azerbaijan, where more than 300 political prisoners are being held captive. And the fact that human rights and freedoms are being violated everywhere and at the state level in the country does not bring peace to the international community. This is an adequate response to our calls. Ben Cardin, chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the Abyssinian Senate, wrote in a statement on behalf of the Abyssinian Senate, "The Azerbaijani government must release the political prisoners of COP-29. Senator Ben Cardin wants these political prisoners to be released from the Azerbaijani government as soon as possible." Former deputies Nazim Beydemirli, economists Gubadi Badolu, Ferit Mihralzadeh, members of the civil society and activists Bektiar Hajiev, Ilhamiz Guliev, Anar Mehmedli, and Tofik Yakublu, journalists Ulvi Hesenli, Mehmet Tekelov, Stevinch Vakif Kızı, Nergiz Absalamova, Hafiz Babala, Elnare Kasimova, and Aziz Oruchuv. We call on the international union, all democratic states, to rush to Senator Ben Cardin's call. The whole world should demand from the Azerbaijani government that all political prisoners in the country should be released by COP-29. If today, 85 days after being imprisoned in the Azerbaijani prison, 85 days after being released, and 8 days after being released, the young tyrant Fazil Gasimov, who has lost 35 kilograms, is at the brink of death, if the first group Elil, the two Eliflik, the political prisoner Famil Khalilov, has been released for 25 days, this should no longer be considered the problem of the Azerbaijani people. The COP-29 should not be held in Baku. The gathering of 70-80,000 people from all over the world, state and international organizations, climate activists, and journalists in Baku is of course a good opportunity to present Azerbaijan to the world. But which Azerbaijan will be presented to the world? To present Azerbaijan to the world as a state that is currently developing, it is not enough to re-asphalt the roads, to separate the Velizabeth roads from the endless narrow roads. The only way to present Azerbaijan to the international community without shame is to release all political prisoners until COP-29. And this is the demand of the general public.